Cliff Jumper, commence countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now, ToyCast with your hosts, TFG1 Mike, Optimbottomus, and Matt Spada.
Thank you, Megatron, for that awesome introduction, as always. This is TFG1 Mike, and before ToyCast 84 starts, just want to say you guys are going to hear a couple of themes before the actual episode starts. One is the TFG1 theme from 1984, the Season 1 theme, and also the Voltron theme, seeing as how this episode is Transformation Voltron Nation. So you're going to hear those next, and then we'll get into the episode.
Waits their paddle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons, the Transformers. Robots in disguise, the Transformers. More than meets the eye, the Transformers.
From days of long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend. The legend of Voltron, defender of the universe. A mighty robot, loved by good, feared by evil. As Voltron's legend grew, peace settled across the galaxy. On planet Earth, a galaxy alliance was formed. Together with the good planets of the solar system, they maintained peace throughout the universe. Until a new, horrible menace threatened the galaxy. Voltron was needed once more. This is the story of the super force of space explorers. Specially trained and sent by the Alliance to bring back Voltron, defender of the universe.
Voltron, defender of the universe.
Oh yeah, she wasn't wearing a blue dress. Yeah, you weren't even wearing a dress in that picture.
I should have never asked. I'm too tired for this.
Actually, I think that in the blue dress, that might have been my sister.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about my niece.
Oh, okay.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
They think I'm 12?
I don't know. I saw it in passing.
He just saw it in passing.
Oh, sure.
That's funny.
Hello and welcome to episode 84 of ToyCast. I am your host, TFG1 Mike, and joining me is Optimbottomus. Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you?
And Spada.
I'm tired.
So this is episode 84. Episode 84 is going to entail the three of us talking about Transformers, and then later on in the episode, Spada and I are going to talk about Voltron toys. Yes, so Spada, how have you been, sir?
I'm tired. It's been...
Okay, besides that...
I think he's asleep.
I'm doing well. Besides being
good.
Exhausted, I am doing well.
That's very good. And how was everybody's Christmas and New Year? It is now 2011, all that good stuff.
God, I feel so old.
Just imagine, you'll be 31 later this year.
Fuck you.
Hey, I'll be 31 in February. Fuck you, buddy.
32 in November, or 33 in November.
You old fart.
No kidding. No.
Hey, but you're getting married this year, so that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He says that while his fiance smacks him upside the head.
No, she can't hear you guys.
What are they asking?
Nothing. They love you. You're fantastic. You are a wonderful co-host.
Okay then. So yes,
Devil with the blue dress, blue dress, blue dress. Devil with the blue dress on.
Don't do that.
And she's 12.
that.
You're a
Yeah,
pedophile.
my fiance is 12 years old. Apparently. Let's not go there in this.
If only Ultra Magnus were still doing Unsolved Mysteries.
That would be rather.
Oh God! All right, so we are here to talk about.
They hear what I'm saying then?
Yes.
No.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
And you will be on the internet with this. So, this isn't the first time she's gotten into the recording, so.
I believe it.
So yes, episode 84 is going to be a combination of Transformers and Voltron. In the Transformers segment, we are going to be specifically talking about the 1984-85 Generation 1 lines. Pretty much giving overall impressions, what we were like when we were kids, begging our parents to buy us these overly expensive toys. Of course, nowadays they're 4 times that much.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start with, my mom maintains the fact that I had an Optimus Prime when I was a kid, the G1 Optimus Prime. I do not remember having Optimus Prime.
Not good.
I don't ever remember having Optimus Prime. I remember having Blaster and all his cassettes. I remember having, I had Astro Train, I had Blitzwing. For some strange reason, I had Laserbeak without Soundwave. I don't know how the hell that happened. And I had a lot of like weird characters that nobody really knows. I don't know. I think I had I don't know if this was ever made, but I seem to remember having a green tank resembling Warpath, but I don't know. It could be another toy line, I'm not sure.
A green tank.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah. I remember having a green tank that turned into a robot, but like I said, it might not have been Transformers.
Was it Brawl?
Could have been.
Yeah, Brawl was a green tank.
Yeah, that's the only green tank that I can think of.
Yeah, that probably was it. I had a buddy of mine who had Soundwave in all his cassettes, and my buddy had Soundwave all his cassettes. I had some of the Autobots, and he had almost all the Decepticons, and I so wanted Soundwave. I tried stealing it from him a couple of times.
I always wanted Shockwave, and I could never get a hold of him.
Yeah.
Never get Shockwave, but I had all the mini cars from the original series and Prime. I never had any of the bigger cars. Oh, no, I take that back. I had Wheeljack. And he was the only one of the cars that I ever got a hold of. But I had Skywarp and Megatron from the original toy line. I didn't have a lot of them, but I don't know how I ended up with all the mini cars except for Bumblebee. Actually, no, I did not have Bumblebee and Cliffjumper. I had all of them, but those two.
I had Bumblebee, Cliffjumper. I missed out on a lot of them. I didn't have Jazz. I didn't have Mirage. I had multiple versions of Goldbug.
Well, he's not from the original line. He's from...
True. He's from later, but...
I did have Mirage. I do remember Mirage. And that's it. I never had Soundwave. I always wanted Soundwave, but no one could ever find him.
Soundwave or Shockwave?
Both.
Oh.
Like you could not find them in my area at the time.
I can honestly say that I don't remember my parents ever buying me a Transformer. I don't remember ever being given one that was still in its package. All the Transformers that I ever got were from this. I grew up in a small town in Michigan, and in the town next to us, every Saturday and Sunday, they had this huge flea market that it was outdoors. It was just a massive amount of junk. And I can remember getting every Transformer that I've ever owned from that place. So I never had for like a complete. I had Optimus Prime. He didn't have a trailer. It was just Optimus Prime. I had several of the mini-bots, several of the cassette figures. The very small ones I remember having. What do you?
Well, you sure made up for it now.
Yeah, my girlfriend is now teasing me. There was never a real Transformer that I can honestly say that I remember being given. Everything that I got was some kind of a hand-me-down.
I don't remember how I got him, but I had Megatron. I never transformed him, though.
You just kept him as a gun?
Yeah.
You're psychotic.
No! I looked at the instructions. We tried a couple of times. Things would not go where they were supposed to go. And I just said, screw it. I'll just leave it like a gun because it had that really, really awesome Decepticon symbol on the barrel, on the butt of the gun.
Yeah,
on the stock, yeah.
It's funny you mentioned couldn't transform something. One of my coworkers actually, his nephew likes Transformers, and he was talking to me after the Christmas break, and he's like, yeah, he got a couple of these things, and he can't transform them at all. He's like 6. He can't do it. He turned to me. He's like, can you transform me? He's like, I had to pull up one of your videos and figure out how to transform it.
That's good.
At least you're getting viewership from that.
I am fulfilling a public service.
Transformers nowadays are vastly different than... I remember as a kid having these things in my hands, and I could transform them with no problem. Mm-hmm. It was always, my parents would always marvel at the fact that I would never have to need any kind of instruction, and not even necessarily Transformers. But I remember getting, for example, the Technodrome. I got that given to me for a Christmas present when I was a kid, and I put that thing together without looking at any instructions. And my parents would just marvel. They're like, if my sister got something, they would hand it to me and say, hey, here, put it together for your sister. Because I could do it. It was amazing. Nowadays, I get comments on some of my videos, like the Revenge of the Fallen leader Optimus Prime, where recently, parents have gotten this for their kids, and they're young kids. They're less than 10 years old. And they're like, thank you so much for this video. We couldn't figure out how to do it at all.
I've had that quite a bit. It's amazing. Really scary, especially with some of the more... especially with the Revenge of the Fallen line. Mm-hmm. Especially with that one.
Yeah.
Some of those figures are just... They're ridiculous. You look at Mixmaster.
I still refuse to review him because I can't transform him.
I have the directions and I can't transform him correctly.
Yeah. I look at the instructions and I'm like, I can't figure this out. I've watched countless videos on it, and I'm not comfortable enough transforming him enough to do a review of the thing.
I think he is harder than Leader Prime.
Oh, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Well, back in 84, 85, the majority
they hadn't come up with ball joints yet.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
The mention of a ball joint. When you think about it, every Transformer, from 84 to, 86, 87.
Everything from pre-Beast Wars.
Yeah. Everything was pull, here's the transformation process. It would either pull, rotate,
swivel,
or swivel, or just slide out. That was the transformation for every Transformer up until Beast Wars, and
or disassemble,
yeah. like Omega Supreme. I mean,
or the Action Masters.
Yeah. So the invention of the ball joint has really fucked everything up.
And then I think you had a lot of craziness with Beast Wars. And let's face it, there was some origami going on. And then Robots in Disguise came out. And then it's like you look at Sideburn and Red Alert and Wild Rider, and it's like, oh dear God, his arm is turning inside out and going up his butt pipe. What?
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, So when you look at these toys, and in the early part of the '80s, I mean, and like I said, I mean, it's not even necessarily just Transformers. I mean, a lot of the toys back then were very simplistic. And it's hilarious.
You also have to realize that all of these figures from the first two waves of, for the most part, for the first two waves of Transformers, were all from series in the late 70s and early 80s. So you're talking about figures that had already been in other markets. I mean, the entirety of the first wave of Autobots and Decepticons were from Diaclone. And then in 85, you've got some Microman, there was a Whirl and Roadbuster from a series that I can't pronounce. The Jump Starters were from another series.
I specifically remember having the Jump Starters, and I hated them both.
Jetfire, it was from Robotech. I mean, you've got Bandai figures in here. The Insecticons were from Diaclone, and the original
Dinobots. The
Dinobots were from Diaclone. Anything that had a door that could fit someone, like a tiny little figure, was from Diaclone. Megatron was from Microman. So was Shockwave, and just it's like, okay, these are all from other series. And then in '86, they started using other more original molds. But you're right. The ball joint is really what changed everything.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as 86, because 86 was when all the Hot Rod and the Cyclonus and, all those figures started coming out where they had to get a little bit more creative. But they were still fairly simplistic in their transformations. I mean, one of the most ingenious things I thought was done on Cup, where you could take his arms and you can fold them and they go up underneath his chest. I'm like, wow, you mean I don't have to just slide his arms out from some spot? They actually tuck up and do something?
If you think about it, that design was way back in the first line with Jazz, Blue Streak, and Prowl.
That's true. Yep. That's right. I forgot about those fellas. Yeah.
And then Wheeljack also had the unique thing where his arms would fold up and form the entire back of the vehicle. Same with Sunstreaker.
Yeah. I mean, these toys were, and everybody always asked, me why I liked them. And obviously they're robots. Boys like robots, and boys like cars. And I really think it's a testament to the whole franchise that it still maintains one of the. It intrigues people because it's not only a toy, but it's a puzzle. Yeah, that you have to somehow
get from point A to point B.
Right, exactly. And I think that's something that I still think endears a lot of young boys in with Transformers, that they're able to have some kind of a challenge, and it's a toy, but it's also it's a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah. And not only that, but you've effectively got more than one toy. You've got your cool car or vehicle or truck or robot or beast, and then you've got the equivalent of a G.I. Joe action figure.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's kind of disingenuous to say, because a lot of figures there are figures out there that have some real problems with them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But, just overall, the 84, 85 line, the whole generation line on a whole, from 85 to or 84 to what was it, 87, 88 when it finally ended. Just the whole line, back then, like we said.
Well, I would say ended as we knew it.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, Generation 1 is what I said, as far as the toy line. So,
yeah.
What?
No, I was agreeing.
I mean, back then, like we said earlier, it was fairly simplistic. You had two toys in one. Where, nowadays, sometimes, I mean, hell, if you count the Constructicons and Devastator, you've got close to 8, 9 toys.
Well, technically,
all at once. Okay, well. If you want to get technical, again, you're bringing math to me at 10 o'clock at night. I don't think so. Math can go to hell and die. But I mean, it's one of those things where it was just amazing that you could, for however...
I wish I could have my ottoman back.
I remember when I bought Blaster, he was maybe $14, or when my mom bought Blaster for me, he was like $14.
Yep.
And she also bought all the cassettes, which at that time, those were like, what, $4 or $5 a piece?
$5 or $6 per 2-pack.
Right. And for Blaster, there was only two packs. There was Steel Jaw and Ramhorn and Eject and Rewind.
Right. Blaster didn't come with anything, did he?
No, he came with his gun, but he didn't come with any cassettes.
Yeah, the cassettes came later.
As opposed to Soundwave, who came with Buzzsaw, and then you could get Frenzy and Ravage and Rumble and Laser.
Well, yeah, because you got to remember that the cassettes for Blaster didn't debut until the movie.
Yeah.
No, I thought. No.
Well,
Blaster
no, you're wrong, Paul.
Blaster.
Well, at least the Eject and Rewind, they didn't come out till the movie.
Okay.
Right, yeah, but Ramhorn and Steeljaw were in season 2 of G1.
They were there, yeah. I apologize.
Yes.
Too much stuff to remember.
Yes, we know. But I mean, my mom bought me Blaster and those 2 cassette packs. So you're looking, say, $5 a piece for the cassette packs and $14 for Blaster. You're looking at $24 for 4 toys that transform into robots from other things. And one of the things I love about Blaster and Soundwave is just the fact of such simplistic transformations. Whereas nowadays, some people like the complex transformations because it's more of a puzzle nowadays than it ever was back then.
Now, let's also remember this is $24 in 1986 money.
True.
Which should easily be $50 by today's standards.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I mean, in terms of cost and things, it's relative when you're comparing it. But but you also have to take a look at some of the quality that was put into these figures. I mean, nowadays to create a Transformer with die cast in it, that's going to cost you a lot of money.
You're looking at like a deluxe class figure would easily be $50, $60.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, so it's the quality. I mean, the whole saying they don't make them like they used to. It really applies.
So to quote Optimus Prime, die-cast construction, it's a lost art.
It very much is. It very much is. But in terms of those old toys, though, I think that typically they did a fantastic job on them. I mean, the ones that I honestly think are the worst ones are probably the Ironhide and Ratchet figures.
That's because they have no heads.
Well, they don't have anything. I swear it. I still look at them today, and it doesn't look like anything.
Hold on. Let me look at my reissue. My reissue Ratchet that I just got back from BBTS. No, they don't have jack shit.
It's nothing. It looks like an exploded Volkswagen van thing. I mean, those are probably the worst ones that I can think of from the Generation 1 toys. I mean, those are
Yes.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I can't fault them because they just copied it, but it's like, oh God, those are atrocious.
You know, I have found as I have gotten older, and technology has moved on, it is really hard to go back to the G1 and some G2 stuff. I love them. They'll always have a place in my heart, but I've just been finding it very, very difficult to go back with the same love that I had when I was, even 10 years younger. Even when I was like 20. I've been finding it very difficult to go back.
You know, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, for me, I can go back with, my nostalgia glasses and look at them like, oh, those were awesome back then.
Yeah.
But for today's standards, absolutely not. I will say, however, the one G1 toy that I absolutely love the most, I've got him here in my hand, the one that I can transform with my eyes shut, is Astro Train. I always loved Astro Train as a kid. I don't know why, but I love this transformation.
There's another one where, normally we have 2 toys and then you have a puzzle involved. Now you have 3 toys in a puzzle.
Oh.
So I think that's part of the, the fun factor. And I think triple changers in general, a lot of people tend to like those. I don't necessarily know why, but the early ones I didn't think looked nearly as bad. I mean, like when you get to like Blitzwing from Animated, where to me, like one mode is good, one mode is crap, and then you got his robot mode. And I think with a lot of triple changing Transformers now, there's always, and even I'm thinking of what the hell is it? Oh, Octane. Decent looking airplane mode. His tanker truck mode looks like a reject, but it's like, back in the early toys, you got Astro Train, which had a decent looking mode for all 3. And, Blitzwing back in G1 had a decent looking alt mode for all 3, and then it just got retarded.
Yeah. And especially with Springer. Springer was
very stupid.
I hated that triple changer.
I never liked Springer, but I always wanted him. I never liked Broadside.
No.
I liked the idea of Sandstorm. What?
Random Octobotamus house stuff. What the hell?
I liked the idea of Sandstorm, but I don't think the execution was all that great.
Why? Well, I'm sorry. I can't shut up 24/7.
We can put a muzzle on you. That might help.
Oh, that's not going to go over well.
Anything?
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing. For my own safety.
Anyways, getting back to the topic.
Just to reiterate a point.
Significant others?
Yes.
All right.
So, guys, I have the re-release of Ratchet here in my hand. G1 Ratchet.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Give our listeners an idea of just how weird I'm feeling right now. The last time I got a hold of this figure, I was 6. That was the last time I ever saw this figure. That thing back then to me was huge. I am holding him in my hands now. His robot mode is actually smaller than a Revenge of the Fallen Scout class figure.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because that's one thing that I was going to touch on right before we got into this whole thing, was that as an adult, I mean, I like many people have heard this story that I haven't collected Transformers for many years, not since the and I can't even remember what they are or what line they're in, but the Optimus Prime that transformed into a fire truck and could combine with Ultra Magnus.
That would have been Robots in Disguise.
Okay. That I saw. So, I mean, you're talking about from the time I was a kid to the time when that came out. That's when I stopped with the whole Transformers. I saw those 2 in the store, and I'm like, oh, those are kind of neat. And I bought them, and that was my first re-entry back into Transformers. so G1, I never started getting G1 stuff again until 2-3 years ago. And once I got these things in my hand and I'm looking at them, I was like, you know what? I remember these things being so much bigger.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And that's the amazing thing. I mean, just recently I got the reissue Jazz figure. And I'm looking at this thing, and it's like
so
a scout.
small.
It's tiny, and it's hilarious looking at these through the eyes of nostalgia and all that fantastic stuff. You look at these things, and it's like, really? This is how big it was? I mean, it was really, because I'm looking at these, I'm like, they had to have shrunk it or something. That's the size that they were, and it's amazing to look at them now.
Oh yeah.
I'm still trying to get a hold of a Metroplex reissue. I really want to get a hold of one of those because that was one of the only City Bots I had as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That and Scorponok. And hey, Takara, for the love of God, start re-releasing some bigger G1 stuff, like maybe, I don't know, Trypticon.
I was just thinking that exact same one. I mean, when I was a kid, again, it was completely incomplete, but you could put him into a dinosaur. I mean, he didn't have his battery cover, he didn't have any accessories, nothing.
I want my giant transforming Mechagodzilla, thank you. But what I was going to say is those bigger ones are the only ones that don't feel small to me. I know that sounds really weird, but like the bigger figures like Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, Blaster, Metroplex, which I've gotten a whole. I don't own one, but I know someone who does. Omega Supreme, they don't feel tiny.
Yeah.
All of the other G1 figures I've gotten a hold of just feel so ridiculously small.
It's almost the exact opposite. With how they feel. I mean, when I don't remember where I got it from, but I got the Encore Metroplex. I got the Encore Skylinks. I got the Encore Omega Supreme. And those ones, when I got them, I was like, wow, these things are big. I mean, it's the exact opposite. When I got Jazz, I'm like, this thing is tiny. When I got all the other ones, I'm like, wow, I forgot how big this actually was. So it's really strange how that completely flips. I'd be curious because the one I can really remember having and playing with a lot when I was a kid was Trypticon. And I absolutely refuse to pay the prices that a complete Trypticon will go for on eBay, which says a lot, seeing how I'm retarded with my money when it comes to buying Transformers at times. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing that I actually do have some kind of, I am not paying $200 for a Trypticon. I mean, yet I'll pay $50 for a deluxe Transformer that's released early. I mean, it's really stupid. There's some weird logic in my brain that I can't figure out. My fiance's been trying to figure out for the past 4 years, and she's still, unfortunately, unable to figure it out. But
good luck with that.
Yeah, it's never going to happen. I would love, though, to get my hands on a Trypticon just for the sheer nostalgia of the whole thing, and because I want to. It's one of those things where it's like I want to remember whether or not the thing was big or if it was small.
So why don't you let your fiance buy it for you for your birthday?
Because I don't want to wait till November.
Or Valentine's Day.
There you go. For Valentine's Day, you can buy me a Trypticon.
All right, you got to give me the information.
She's going to buy you.
Oh my God!
Chocolate Trypticon.
We have created a monster here.
It is recorded on here. You heard it. For Valentine's Day, she's getting me a Trypticon.
Are they like $600?
I don't know, Trypticon. Did you guys catch that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see.
$600.
I'm heading over
Are
to
they
eBay.
making a big deal out of it because I'm sweet, or are they making a big deal out of it because it costs a fortune?
No, they're just.
I'm making a big deal out of it because it has to be the geekiest Valentine's Day present I've ever heard someone give another person.
Yeah, they're laughing because it's a very geeky Valentine's Day present.
Oh,
no, we've moved past geek.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. I don't think my girlfriend wants to get me this.
I told you.
I found two on here. One is $349, and the other one, with the box, is $525.
Yeah, I'm only a teacher.
Yeah, I'll keep my eyes open though.
She can sell some of her students.
Yeah, you could tell a couple of your students. They pay pretty well.
You could job them out.
Why would I want to sell anything of
Okay,
mine?
we're getting so off track here. So
what were we talking about?
Did anyone see the Pawn Stars episode where they were going to buy that room of Transformers?
Yes.
There's one problem I have with that episode.
That was a good episode.
It was a good episode. There's one problem I have with that clip. That guy had multiples of everything.
Yeah.
I seriously doubt. I mean, if you just had one of each of those, it would probably be closer to $10,000. But he had like 4, 5, 6 Power Master Primes. He had 4, 5, 6 Tripticons.
He had like 4, 5, or 6 Fort Maxes, dude.
He had
I know.
he had like 2 overloads.
I know.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I saw that episode
when he said 20,000, and then he just started showing the stuff. I'm like, he's undercutting
big time.
Yeah. And then he was like, "Oh, well, that big 2-foot tall one over there would get you $1,000 easily, and the box would easily just get you, $500."
Oh, the guy who walked in and was looking at it, he walked in, he's like, "Yeah, whoa."
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I saw when it first aired, a couple months back. What was the reasoning that the guy gave for having to sell all this?
His wife was pregnant and they were having a baby.
You need that much money for a baby?
No, he needed the room, so he had to.
He needed the room.
He needed the space.
Yeah,
because that was going to be the baby's room.
We need. You know what we need to do? We need the three of us. We need to take a trip down to Las Vegas, find this dude's house, and just
beat him up.
Beat him up. Leave the baby, obviously, but we'll beat him up and we'll steal all of his Transformers. I mean, come on.
Well, I'm a cruel, heartless bastard. Why don't we just sell the baby?
You could go package deal, I think.
Yeah, no, we're not. I'm not being into any kind of human trafficking. Oh, thank you. I don't mind Transformers trafficking, but there's no way in hell I'm selling Spike.
Oh, you could.
Daniel wouldn't even register an amount.
Probably not.
Anyways, what else do we want to say about the 8485 line? Anything, guys?
For the time, they were something truly unique and something that, honestly, to this day, is still unique. I mean, there aren't any other robot toys here in America.
That's true. I mean, there are and there aren't. I mean, this is the. I mean, you can get some random robot toys, but these things here are the definitive, long-lasting Transformers. And with the movies coming out, it just brings in a new generation of people that are hopefully going to appreciate these, except for the fact that they still most of these kids that are coming in here now probably don't even know that some of these things exist. I mean,
that's why they have their parents to teach them.
That's why the internet exists.
Most of the parents nowadays aren't even old enough to know what these are. You get parents that are 19, 20, 21 years old. They don't know these original Transformers.
Or you get parents or future parents who are 33 and live in California who can teach their kids.
Well, that could happen, yeah.
See? Exactly.
But, see, I mean, I'm also different.
Let's not go there.
Well.
So we're going to take a quick break, and then we will get into the Voltron section of this episode.
Hey guys, it's Mike Hunt, and we here at IGN have just put together a totally cool list of the top 100 animes. Oh my god, what's happening?
I am from the GCRN radio network, and I have been sent from the cartoon gods to do away with your crappy top 100 list and to enlist all of across the internet. With our powers combined, we will create the most epic top 100 list of all time and forever put you peons at IGN to shame. So go tell all the other morons at IGN to take cover because the Geekcast Radio Network's top 100 animated series of all time list is coming soon.
Do you like retro shows? Did you grow up in either the 80s or the 90s? Then tune into Telecast, GeekCastRadio.com's newest podcast. Join us here on the Telecast as we revisit some of your favorite shows, such as Clarissa Explains It All, Salute Your Shorts, Saved by the Bell, and much, much more, only on GeekCastRadio.com.
This is Megatron, leader of the Predacons. And if you're hearing this, it means the Beast Unleashed podcast is now over. Yes. In the Beast Unleashed, myself, Steve Megatron Phillips, Pecan Court Michael Wilson, and TFG1 Mike review Beast Wars and Beast Machines in the very first podcast of its kind. Yes. In the podcast, we interview voice actors, writers from the show, and talk in-depth trivia between everything in between. So, if you're interested, you can tune in to the now finished Beast Unleashed podcast over on GeekCastRadio.com. Ha 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 ha. Excellent! Yes!
Movie Week in Review is the Geekcast Radio Network's weekly movie podcast. Steve and Mike take a look back on their favorite films and give you their thoughts. They also bring in co-hosts at times. If you are a movie buff, listen to M-Wire only on GeekCastRadio.com.
Welcome to part 2 of episode 84 of ToyCast. Optibotimus had to leave us. He had to go
Feed his fish.
Well, I was going to say hunt some ghosts, seeing as how he got one of the Scolari brothers recently, but okay.
Play hockey.
Play hockey. There you go, play hockey. He had to play hooky on the podcast to go play hockey. So Spada is still with me, and this time I had this weird idea for a lot of the numbered episodes in the 80s of ToyCast that they would be the year that Toyline started. So episode 84 is Transformers and Voltron. What we're going to focus on specifically here is Voltron Lion Force. Spada will speak a little bit about the Vehicle Force Voltron, but let's face it, everyone remembers Lion Force Voltron.
Oh, yeah.
At least anybody that grew up in the 80s will remember Lion Force Voltron.
And let us not forget Gladiator Voltron. Anybody know what that is? No? Oh, okay.
No, sorry. I would absolutely, and I remember having some of the lions, but I like the original toy that combined. I don't remember having all of them at all.
I did not have. There were 2 versions of the toy. There was the really, really freaking big version that was like 14 inches tall. I didn't have that one. I had like an 8-inch tall one.
Yeah.
That had all the lions, and I had that one. And it came with, that guy came with a bunch of accessories for each lion as well.
Yeah, it did. It so did, and it was. These toys were awesome. The Voltron toys were awesome, just as Transformers are awesome. Voltron were. I think is it the big one that was the die-cast one, or is it the little one that was the die-cast one?
They both had some die-cast in it. The bigger one had more die-cast.
Had more, yeah. I don't remember having it. I might have had like 1 or 2 of those lions, but as far as having the whole, like all 5 lions, I remember having the smaller version. But I do remember having a couple of the bigger lions, and they were just awesome.
Yeah, a couple of those bigger ones. Now, I always thought that they all came in sets.
Mm-hmm.
but that might not be right. I always thought that they came in full sets, but after doing some digging, I found that sometimes they were sold each lion was sold separately, which makes no sense whatsoever.
No, it doesn't.
So that was a little weird for me, but growing up, I had the lions, and it wasn't until I got older that I got a hold of the Vehicle Force set.
Yeah.
And as much as I love the lions, being a Transformers fan, I kind of dug the Vehicle Force because you had 15 different vehicles, and each of those vehicles were split into 3 teams of 5, and each one of those teams could merge together into a crazy-ass vehicle. You had the sea team, the air team, and the land team. Yep. And the land team was pretty much nothing more than 2 Land Rovers with 2 flying fists stuck on top, all held together by a brick in the back. And I always found that to be absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, that's just so weird. I actually do not remember, like, the Lion Force stuff. I remember the Voltron toys of the lions and them merging and all that, but I do not remember the actual individual figures of, like, Pidge and Hunk and Keith and Lance and all that. But they had original figures to them as well.
Mm-hmm. They had original figures, and I never knew anyone that had them.
Yeah.
Everyone had the actual Voltron toy.
Yeah.
Or the Robeasts. Each of the or not each of them, but there were a ton of little Robeast figures, and you could buy an extra coffin for all the Robeasts as well.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was cool.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. Having, that they made these accessories based off of what was on the show. And I mean, Voltron, no disrespect to Transformers, but Voltron in 1984, it was everywhere. I mean, they had live stage shows, they had, oh my god, it was just everywhere, and just the toys were just so amazing. I think I like the Black Lion the best. Not just because Keith is the leader, but just because, I don't know, I like the Black Lion the best. Maybe because it forms the head. I don't know.
I think the reason a lot of people like the Black Lion was it didn't just form the head. It was also the biggest.
Yeah.
By far. And it always seemed to be the most useful.
Yeah.
Because whenever the Black Lion showed up, it could always just kick the crap out of anything, and then they would form Voltron.
Yep. And I mean, just going off the cartoon, like on the cartoon of Lion Force, all of the different lions had their different powers and everything else, but I don't think those were very well represented in the toy.
No, not at all. I mean, they all had different weapons.
Yeah.
But you never got a sense that each lion had a specialty.
Right.
Like, you never really got that sense. I think at one point it was mentioned that the Green Lion could fly the fastest.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And if you ever noticed, I might be missing, this might be wrong, but I could have sworn in the original show, in the very first, when the lions first showed up,
mm-hmm.
you had Sven, Keith,
Lance.
Lance, thank you. Lance, Hunk, and Pidge.
Right.
And they were all, like, Keith in his red suit was in the Red Lion. Lance in his blue suit was in the Blue Lion. And then Sven was in his black suit in the Black Lion. And then, Pidge and Hunk they never moved.
Yeah, no, you're kind of wrong there.
Okay, I am
what
wrong.
What the order is Keith had the red suit, but he was in the Black Lion.
No, Sven was originally in the Black Lion.
No, he wasn't. Sven was originally in the Blue Lion.
Was he?
Yep. Trust me, I watched the cartoon.
Okay.
Keith was in the red line because Keith was in the black line because Keith was the leader. Sven had the black suit in the blue lion.
Okay. Considering that this was originally a Japanese show called Go Lion,
right,
it makes sense that the leader was red. Okay.
Right, yeah.
See, when I was a kid, I never understood. You're in the black lion, why are you wearing red? You're in the blue lion, why are you wearing pink?
Well, okay, when Sven went away or when he went missing, because we can't say he died because in the U.S. cartoon he couldn't die.
The original Go Lion, he died.
Right,
but
yes.
in the U.S. version,
he got
was
injured
and was taken back to Earth. I love that. It was so silly.
I know. And the problem with Allura being in the Blue Lion was they needed someone for the Blue Lion, but because they also wanted to cater to girls, they had to have her in a pink uniform.
No, that was a Japanese thing. They were trying to go off Sentai, and at that point, I believe that was what Go Lion was when 80. Go Lion.
Yeah, I think so.
80. So that would have been. I'm probably wrong, and I can easily check that while I'm talking here, but I believe most Super Sentai, or what would become Power Rangers, at that point, most of the women were only pink. There was a few, and let's see, okay, I've got pictures of all of them up, and I am correct. From 1975 to 1980, the end, 83, 84, women were only in pink in Super Sentai.
Yeah.
In the end of 84 to 85 series was the first time a woman was not pink.
Yeah. But yeah, Keith was wearing the red suit in the Black Lion. Lance was
wearing the blue suit
in the Red Lion, and then Sven was the black suit in the Blue Lion.
Blue Lion, and then Pidge and Hunk were
yellow and green in the Yellow and Green Lions. Which is kind of funny because Hunk's uniform, it's orange.
Well, it depends on which animation studio was doing it. Because it was either orange or yellow. I have the first 2 season DVDs, and some episodes it's orange, some episodes it's yellow.
Yep. But I mean, these, along with a lot of other great toy lines that were out in the 80s, was just another thing to, like, back then when I played with toys, I had multiple toys from everything. I remember that I had a picture that I had taken, or that my mom took or something, in 1990. I had one of the villain cars from Mask, James Bond Jr., Dick Tracy, Captain Planet, Wheeler, 6 different kinds of Transformers standing in front of Castle Grayskull, for Christ's sake.
Just to follow up on something, Hunk was in fact orange, but most of his toys were yellow.
Yeah. But in the show, his lion was yellow because they specifically said the yellow lion, but his uniform was orange.
If you look at any picture of them in their quote unquote civilian clothes, he's always wearing orange and brown.
Yeah.
Orange for the color of his uniform, brown for the color of the sand where the lion is.
Yeah. Yeah. But these toys were just amazing. For the time that they came out, they were just awesome.
Yeah, for the time that they came out, they were amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask you, have you seen the picture of the little girl cosplaying as Voltron?
No.
Okay. I just sent you the Google image link.
Oh God. Am I gonna be like so scared I'm never gonna do an episode of this podcast again?
Quite possibly.
Oh God. Oh my God. I have to put this in the episode post.
Yes, you do. Because
my God.
It is several levels of absolute awesome.
Oh my God. That is so cool. Wow.
I mean, if I was a little kid and my folks said, hey, we built you a Voltron costume, I probably would have said, well, I wanted it to be Optimus Prime, but this is cool.
Oh my god. Are those plastic lion arms?
Yes.
They are oh wow. So it's not just a cloth. Oh my, like for the people that can't see this, that haven't looked at the episode post, it looks like the actual body of where her stomach and her chest is and all, it looks like part of that is cloth, but the rest of it is plastic.
Yes, there's cloth in there for her to move.
Right. Oh my god, wow.
You're welcome.
Wow, that's awesome on so many levels. Damn. Did they make that suit in 350-pound size?
No. It's Defender of the Universe, Mike, not Fat Ass of the Universe.
Oh well. Well, it's either that or I'm not gonna go there. But anyway, but wow, that is awesome. Oh my god. Her parents actually made her that?
I think. I'm not totally sure, but whoever made it, they deserve like a standing ovation.
Yeah. Dude, rocking awesome Voltron armored. Yeah, I don't have any clue. That is so awesome. Wow. Oh man. Okay, so back to the toys. Damn. How many lions did you have as a kid, or do you still have any of them nowadays?
No, because they all just fell apart.
Yeah, that was the problem with the Voltron stuff. After a while, after a few years of aging, regardless if the diecast was done good originally, they would, especially after use, after playing with them, they would fall apart fairly easily.
Well, the big problem that they had, the diecast had what today is called gold plastic syndrome.
Yep.
A lot of it had gold plastic syndrome. I mean, this stuff would just fall apart. And let's face it, when you're 5, 6, you don't exactly take care of your toys all that well.
Yeah, no. Yeah, exactly. That's so hilarious. Oh man. But yeah, I loved Voltron. I loved the cartoon for what it was. I mainly loved like the first 10 episodes of the cartoon of Lion Force. Because it gives you that whole backstory of them. And we actually already covered Voltron over on ToyCast. I believe it was episode 4 of ToyCast where we covered that. So, yeah, overall, I mean, I don't know. I don't think, would Voltron have a Transformers-like market on eBay today, like going for thousands and thousands of dollars?
That's hard. I don't think so, but that's not to say that it doesn't, like, premium anything.
Yeah.
Like if it's mint in sealed box,
Right, yeah.
It's gonna get some money, but just checking out, well, let's see, the limited edition Chogokin diecast Lionbot Voltron Masterpiece, which was released a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, is going for $400 right now on eBay.
Wow.
But you're looking at $100, $150 for a complete set.
Yeah, I just found a listing on eBay for the 1984 Voltron with weapons complete. Says great shape. I don't know which one it is. For $189.99 or best offer.
Yeah, and then there's a complete set for... I mean, the complete sets are going for something, but the loose sets aren't really going for much.
Yeah. And I have to say this because I just have to. I know it isn't a ripoff, but when I first saw Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and I first saw the Megazord complete...
Same thing.
I was like, wait, that's just Voltron, live action.
I said the same thing.
And I'm not giving any disrespect to Voltron or anything else, Gold Lion or Sentai or whatever, or Power Rangers. Like, I love Power Rangers, but, you know, it was the first thing that popped in my head was, oh my god, a live-action Voltron.
You're not alone.
I mean, because specifically the chest, the head, and the two legs of the original Megazord. The two legs of the original Megazord, I mean, outside the fact that they're not lions, same colors. It's yellow and blue.
No, yellow and green for Voltron. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yellow and blue.
Yellow and blue were the legs. Green and red were the arms. But yeah, overall, Voltron toys kicked ass back in the day. You know, if you're on a nostalgia kick and you remember, you know, having Voltron toys, try to seek some of them out. Like I said, I'd
seek the toys out. The show doesn't exactly age all that well. It's not bad. It's still fun, but it's definite. It was, let's put it this way, I think it was done in the same style as Speed Racer.
Oh no, it's much better than Speed Racer.
I would say it's better, but the animation still has the same look to it.
Yeah, I guess. And again, they were kind of going off of the Go Lion footage. I mean, they did create some new footage for Voltron Lion Force, but I mean, for 1984 standards of animation, the show's pretty good. One of the reasons why I love the show so much is the fact that hello, it's Peter Cullen doing the
Yep.
We'll be back after these messages. I'll back to Volt. I was so shocked.
Very beginning, the intro.
Yep.
Which, if that does not appear in this episode,
believe me.
Okay.
Believe me, I have plans. I have to figure out how I'm going to work in the Transformer stuff and the Voltron stuff to mesh well. I think what I'm probably going to do is, right after the intro of the show, which people would have already heard, I'm going to have the Transformers thing saying, we'll be back to Transformers after this, and then I'm going to have a bunch of Transformers commercials. Like maybe one or two Transformer toy commercials, and then the now back to yeah, believe me, I have a plan.
Okay, good.
I have a plan. All right, so I think we're going to go to the outro unless you have anything else you want to bring up.
Nope, I am good, sir.
All right, we're going to go to the outro for episode 84.
Voltron will be back after these messages.
Ready to form Voltron! Activate interlocks! Dinotherms connected! Infracells up! Mega thrusters are go! Let's go, Voltron Force! Form feet and legs! Form arms and body! And I'll form the head!
And now, back to Voltron, defender of the universe.
I'm older than you.
He said Grandpa Spada. What the hell?
Well, you know.
What's up, Billy?
Oh, God.
Quick, Mike.
Yes. So, thank you for joining us here on ToyCast. There are some ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on each episode post. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. You can follow us on Twitter. The show name there is TFToycast. Mine is TFJ and Mike. Paul, what is your Twitter?
Twitter.com/Optibotomist.
And Spada?
Twitter.com/BaltMatrix.
Become a fan of us on Facebook. Go to Facebook.com/Geekcast Radio Network. Call our voicemail line. Tell us that you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToyCast and wish you'll join us next time when Optibotimus will be returning with me, and joining us will be Optimus Solo from BehindTheVoiceActors.com, Telecast, and Tooncast. We'll be talking about Mask, Thundercats, and Silverhawks. For now, I am TF2 Mike with the Sleepy Spada and Optibotimus. Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Sleepy Spade of the Bolt Matrix, damn it.
Whatever, same thing. You know what I meant.
Yes, I know.
Why is her head so big? Oh, it just looks weird because it was covering her body. She looked like a big giant bobblehead.